What's up guys, JV2017 here, and today I'm going to share a 100% speculative theory on what Nuka World's story might be all about and why we visit Nuka World in the first place. Once again, this is a complete guess on my part. I don't know anything more about the DLC than you all do, but I think this idea makes a lot of sense given its context, and so I wanted to share it with you all today. In my Nuka World Expectations video from a week or so ago, I shared that I hoped one of our companions brings us to Nuka World, that one of them needs our help. I really enjoyed how Nick Valentine was involved in Far Harbor, and his presence gave so much more context and purpose to the story of that DLC. I think Nuka World is a great opportunity for Bethesda to do that once again, and Piper is the perfect companion for it. I'm going to go through her backstory and share it with you all because it makes a whole lot of sense when you think about it. When you raise Piper's affinity to a certain level in the game, she starts to open up and share a bit more about why she's in the Commonwealth and where she came from. Piper and her sister Nat come from a small community on the outskirts of the Commonwealth. They lived there with their father, who was a member of the local militia, and unfortunately one day their father was murdered under suspicious circumstances. And of course, Piper, being the person she is, had to seek out the truth. She had to figure out who murdered him, why'd they murder him, why did it go down. She uncovered that her father's superior, Captain Mayburn, made a deal with a local band of raiders to attack and basically sack the place. Captain Mayburn planned to leave the main gate open at night, allowing the raiders to come inside and basically take over the place, loot everything, steal everything, maybe kill everyone too. And in exchange, Mayburn would receive a cut of whatever the raiders were able to get out of the community. After this discovery, Piper realized that Mayburn had to have been the one to murder her father to keep him from sharing these plans. Piper tried to report Mayburn to the authorities, but nobody believed her. She decided to make wanted posters for the captain and spread the word about the community, and the settlers eventually believed her and decided to exile Mayburn from the community. The raiders ended up showing up right on time like they had planned, but all of the settlers knew what was going on and were able to defend the community from the raider attack. After that point, Piper saved up enough money to move to Diamond City and become an investigative journalist, the person we know today in the game. So that's Piper's backstory, but how does it relate to Nuka World? Here's the theory. We know that Nuka World is a theme park run by raiders. In my leaked video from the other day, we know that there are 3 different raider gangs that we'll encounter in the DLC. Again, from Piper's backstory, Captain Mayburn, the guy that was exiled that murdered her father, his location and status is unknown since he was exiled from the community just outside of the Commonwealth. I think it would be a perfect opportunity for Piper to seek revenge. I can absolutely see Nuka World starting out with a quest that requires the sole survivor to meet Piper in Diamond City. Somehow, some way, Piper has heard that after Mayburn was exiled, he actually became a leader of that group of raiders that was going to sack the place. His group eventually found the broken down theme park of Nuka World and decided to settle down there as a base of operations. Piper asks the sole survivor to help her seek revenge by murdering Captain Mayburn, avenging her father, and taking over the park. If the Nuka World DLC is started by a companion, and it might not be, this might be completely off base, once again this is just a theory, complete speculation, but if it is started by a companion, I believe Piper makes the most sense here. Another reason it makes sense is her community was on the outskirts of the Commonwealth. It's nearby, and obviously for DLCs where we go to a new location, it's got to be nearby. It's not going to be across the country unless we get there somehow. That might be the case. Highly doubt it, but it's nearby. It makes sense. Captain Rayburn and his brand of raiders could have gone nearby, found Nuka World, and settled down. It just makes sense. There are some problems with this theory that I'm sure some of you already picked up on. This DLC is going to allow the sole survivor to lead lethal gangs of raiders to take over settlements. That doesn't sound like something that Piper would want to be a part of or would want to support in the slightest, especially considering her father was murdered by a raider sympathizer. Those are some great points, they make sense, but it does seem like no matter what, our sole survivor is going to piss some people off in this DLC. Leading gangs of raiders doesn't align with any main faction, and I guess you could say that Kate is the only other companion that would make sense with, and she could potentially start the DLC too. I would say McCready is another option, but he was more of a gunner mercenary for hire kind of character instead of a raider, so I would actually mark him out. Right now, Piper starting the DLC and asking the sole survivor to help kill Captain Mayburn is a pretty compelling reason to go to Nuka World. I'm not saying this is the reason. Once again, this is just a theory. It could be just like Ada, we might have another companion that wants to start this whole thing, like with Automatron. It might not even be a companion. It could just be a radio signal. Who knows at this point, but I think this is a pretty good reason to go to Nuka World. Whether that's what it turns out to be or not, I'm super excited to learn more about the DLC, and I'm pretty sure we'll be getting more info in the next week. I'd like to hear from you all in the comment section below. How do you think Nuka World's DLC will start? How do you think we'll go there? And also, what do you think the main story will be all about? We already know about these raider factions, so there's a lot of ways this could go. Share what you're thinking in the comment section below. Alright guys, today I shared a theory on how Nuka World might begin. Next time we'll cover more Fallout on my channel, so stay tuned for Fallout 4 tips and tricks videos. If you learned something new or enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe for more Nuka World coverage, Bethesda.net mods, and general tips and tricks videos. Talk to you guys next time. Peace!